Radio, Mam TV, Mam Radio.
Muslim Access Movement.
We spread the word of Islam.
Mam Radio. Wallahi, Al-Jannah to Firdaus is our limit, inshallah. Amen.
On your Google Play Store, download and install Mam Radio. Tap and listen 24 hours of Dawah in Asante, English and Hausa language. Keep sharing the link, inshallah.
Wa alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good afternoon to our listeners across the globe watching and viewing Mam Online. That's Mam Online Radio and
Mam Radio.
You are all welcome to our weekly health program. That's our Mamphec. It's 40 minutes exactly on my time, past 3 o'clock, on the 16th of September 2016. And today is a Saturday, 2017, sorry, and it's a Saturday. Today on our Mamphec program, we are discussing teenage pregnancy. Wow. I have with me here in the studios our panelists, and we were going to introduce them in some few minutes or very soon. Then they are also here to help us discuss the topic on board for today. And teenage pregnancy is becoming a canker in our society here in recent times, and it's something that everyone discusses. But you know, it's good we also remind ourselves as time goes on. You can join the discussion by logging onto our links or downloading the Mam Online Mam Online app and Mam Online Radio app and TV app. That's Mam Online in general. And you can also join the discussion by sending your messages on these WhatsApp lines. That's 020-7733 and 67. And also on 0246751175. Let me mention them again. 020-773667 and also 0246751175. And if you happen to find yourself outside the shores of Ghana, all you need to do is to add the +233 on the numbers to be a part of our discussion. And you can also call directly on 0322494026. And I'm Ibrahim Adongo Husseina, your host for Mamphec. So I'm technically produced by our brother Yunus, and very soon we'll also be introducing our panelists who are also here in our studio with us. Last week we discussed home accidents, and some of the things we talked about were some common home accidents, some of the things we can do to prevent these home accidents, and also how to manage it when it comes on board. So now to today's program, we are talking about teenage pregnancy, and very soon our panelists will be joining us to help discuss some few things concerning teenage pregnancy. So if you are listening or you are watching Mam Online, that's Mam Online Radio and Mam Online TV, you stay tuned as we go for a short commercial break to wait and to also to introduce our panelists as they discuss today's topic. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So we are going for a commercial break as we wait for one of our panelists to discuss today's topic.
On your Google Play Store, download and install Mam Radio. Tap and listen 24 hours.
Mam Radio.
In Asante, English and Hausa language. Keep sharing the link, inshallah.
So, Assalamu alaikum. You are all welcome back to Mam Online. That's Mam Online Radio and Mam Online TV. Like we stated earlier, today we are discussing teenage pregnancy, and I have with me in the studios here our brother. Can you introduce yourself?
Ibrahim Adongo.
So we are still waiting for one of our panelists, but as she comes in, we would let her introduce herself as well, so that the program can go on. So to our first panelist who is in the studio with us, like we stated, we said we are discussing teenage pregnancy. We realize that it's something that has been discussed by other people. It's happening, so people keep talking about it. It's happening in our communities. It's happening in our various regions, and it's something that is becoming serious of late. So I would like to ask, who is a teenager?
A teenager. A teenager, we will say in this our part of the world, is a person within the age of 13 to 19 years.
So if we happen to find a lady between the ages of 9 or 10, or what did you say?
10,
Between the ages of 10 to
12,
19, that's still within the
teen
10,
age.
12, or 13 to 19 years. We can call that person a teenager. So like what my brother is saying here, if you happen to find a young lady or a small girl between the ages of 13 or 10 as of now, because some of the things we see among, let's say, a 13-year-old in recent times, you can still see some of these things in a small girl between the ages of 10, because right from the age 10 you can see some few signs showing that the girl is moving into that teen age where they are prone to a whole lot of issues. So we've discussed teenage, who are teenagers. So, and in a short way, what can we say, or what would we say teenage pregnancy is?
Teenage pregnancy, per our definition of the age, is an unwanted or an unintended pregnancy during adolescence. That is when a girl child gets pregnant within adolescent. That is between the 10 to 19 years of age when that child gets pregnant.
Yes,
or
so
unwanted pregnancy. That's
so
what we
that
classify
means
as
if
teenage
if
pregnancy.
you have a lady or a child between the ages of 10, you have to keep a close eye on, or you have to let the child know certain things, because as at that age she can get herself, or she can get into teenage pregnancy, which it's not
Mom radio.
good for her and maybe the family as well. So let me just add something small to what my brother said, that a teenager, to what's like a teenager can become pregnant. Most times you sit down and expect that maybe the child gets her first menstruation before she can get pregnant, but that is not so. Before a child can get into the menstrual stage, there's something we call the ovulation stage, where there's a release of eggs, and it's when there is a release of egg, that is when the sperm can fertilize the egg to get the girl pregnant. But when it happens that the sperm is not able to fertilize the egg, that is when the endometrium, that is where the baby or the uterus is supposed to attach for pregnancy to come in, is shed off, then that one comes out as menstruation. So if you have a child and maybe she's between the ages we stated, that is 10, between 10, 12, 13, you have to monitor the child, because between that ages, the child is likely to be in an ovulation stage where she can get pregnant even without having her first menstruation. Yes, because she needs to be in an ovulation stage, and some of the things, the ovulation stages, the ovulation stage before she can get pregnant. If she doesn't go through ovulation, she can't go through the menstrual stage. So between, if you have a child between, or you have a sister between that age, you have to keep a close eye on the child, and you have to let the child know certain things with regards to sex issues, or let me say sex education, so that you can prevent certain certainties before it happens. So we have one of our panelists in the studio. She's welcome. We have our mother here in the studio to also join the discussion. So she will introduce herself as at the time it's okay for us to. So we will continue as she rests a bit and joins us. So we were talking about teenage pregnancy, and we've talked about who a teenager is, and we've talked about what teenage pregnancy is. So we won't waste more time. We just talk about how serious the situation, or like how serious teenage pregnancy is in our country here. Let's say Ghana. We're going to talk about how serious the situation is in our country. So, Brother Osman, can you brief us on
Mom
how
Radio.
serious, or let me say based on statistics, what we found out about teenage pregnancy in our country, based on people's research on how teenage pregnancy is.
Thank you for the opportunity. As you said, it's very alert, like it's on the ascending. Teenage pregnancy in the country is on the ascending in all the regions per se. So in 2014, when we checked Graphic Online, we said in Ghana, female represent 51.2% of the entire population at almost 25 million, whereas adolescents represent 22.4% of the total population. So the rate of teenage pregnancy in Ghana, as I earlier stated, is high. Of all the birth registered that's in our country, that was 2014, 30% were by adolescents. That's in 2014, the 30% registered birth in the country, 30% were by adults, and 14% of the adolescents were aged between 15 and 19.
Which that means those people still fall within the age range.
That was the entire population was 30% registered, and only adolescent represented 22% of the 30%.
Wow.
That means it's on the alert.
It's on the alert. That means if all these ladies between this age, we are even saying they are 22%, it showed all of them get involved in teenage pregnancy. That means it's something that is on the alarm.
Yeah.
Is there any more findings?
And after the countries per se, we have regional assessments too. Per the region, as of 2014, the same Graphic Online, we studied that Upper East and Volta region / Brona Hafo, Central and East region had the highest regional status of 14% and above between 2014 to 2012 to 2014. That's these four regions were leading. That's Upper East was the highest. Followed by Volta region.
With what percentage?
With 14%.
Okay. That was us in 2014.
That shows how serious the issue is, because now we are currently in 2017. So if we are to go by this 14%, that means within this year, if 14% was added to this, that would be around 28% of the teenage within that age to get pregnant.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll go for a short commercial break and we'll come back to you in some few seconds. Let me see it that way. So don't go offline. Just wait for us as we will come back from our commercial break.
Mom Radio.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Dedi kan di asida edima Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tuuro yen kaibo ene wo ho. Ngan say be tumonim say access DAWAH people be here car a me de be adwuma say be ya betuma ko town to town, outside to outside, village to village. Oh Ghana babia impo betuma try oh Ghana amako another outside country. O share yeah DAWAH teachers for now. As a kasa wuro de pina na man for the ekeka ahwa betuma wuro babia so outside to outside Europe kure betuma Europe this be your for play. Na me nyani ye for my eti agire for where dey betuma nim say ehia mo wa nyame chadom Europe for modo mo ho agin so mo de boa car no ana ho tell ha nipa wo push car no your friend Usama onye kramuni o o se oji kramufo di oji yankopon ne di enti onimba be nyame be gina afa enti wo boa car no aso na push car no agide for ya ship car no so 3 months na Babylon sira mo ma yenim gu ase ye sira mo enti se de ya sira mo se access ni bisimla ye sira mo na member bi antua 1 million and who ira dem ma obetumi tuo mu nya dia bom say 100,000 na obenya wo de ba ye be twere wudin ye hu say wo san de kana 100 enti asro member bia for so say obetumi aboa say 1 million ya mu aso 1 million ire say member be na just twere 1 million kai ye betumi ato emenya scan bi kwa dem asa de ebi fufuro kra o te asenti ye sro bi bia 1 million so betumi na abro so twere ma no mro ire fondo betumi twere ma na abro so enti obi an for so de o cha sama do kra twere de fama so bi wawu ana kremofo biotumi tue bia de wada kamna ma e ka mu nyina and there was say ne mu adre nti 1 million ye kana mum utimi tue ma ne boro wo ma no kire say ma no mu yetu no bia 1 million dabi na mo betuma ya say bia utue 1 million na e bia me ma no me ba 100 bia na say bia me ne me mani na 1 million nya me dim onye ni yemfa ma ndi damase o me nyina ndi ase no me nyina boto me nyina kuma pa inshallah ya me nyine fa ba no betue bia so hu hire de e wo ho ma o gide fo o me nyina ya mo o me nyina ya mo a
We'll give them dawah. They wanna know why I'm Muslim dust. We'll give them dawah. When they wanna hate on our deen, we'll give them dawah.
Muslim Access Movement.
Spread the word of Islam.
Okay, we are all welcome back from the commercial break. And before we start, I would like to thank our mother, Makan Natural Foods, for sponsoring our program. She's into natural foods, that's brown rice, every food that is good for your health. And you can locate her on the Agrek and Zima Road, just some few meters away from the Lazar Hotel. And you can also come in to
Mom Radio.
sponsors a lot. So before we start anything else, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our sister, Madam Mariam here. So if she's okay, she can introduce herself before we start the program.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mariam Suleiman. Married with a lovely daughter.
So she knows more about what we are talking about today. Teenage pregnancy. She is married and we can classify her as but she knows the basis of what we are talking about. That's with regards to pregnancy. So that's why she's here with us in the studios here to help discuss our topic. Before we went for the commercial break, we were talking about how serious the situation is. Madam Mariam, can you tell us something small about how serious teenage pregnancy is?
Okay. I learned in last year, 2016. I learned Upper East and Volta region reported the highest teenage pregnancy. The Upper East, it was recorded the total number of 5,587 adolescents, representing 15.4% of the year 2016. And it's like, I don't know, every year it keeps increasing. Every year it keeps increasing. I actually encountered I don't know how to put it, similar situation when I was in Fosu, Asamanso Health Center. When during the antenatal visit, the least, I think when I look at the age, the lowest is at least 12 years. 12 years, which means it's really rising. And I don't know, the government have to do something about it because it's getting really serious.
So with what my brother and my sister here just said, I would like to just add something small. My brother here talked about findings that was in 2014
by Graphic Online.
Yes, and our sister here talked about just last year. And within the quarter of this year, that's 2017, 57,000 teenage pregnancies were reported nationwide in the first half of 2017. And among these, Upper East and Volta region were still the highest.
Wow.
That means with every year it keeps increasing. And we are fortunate enough to realize that the Upper East
Mom Radio.
and still maintained it at least.
But they are working on it.
Yes, at least something is done about it. It has not really gone up. It's still maintaining. That is even the first half of this month. So we are likely to have an increase
before the end of the year.
Okay. So based on that, we realized that the Upper East was having 15.4, and we had the Volta region being the second, recording 15% of the total population. Then BA, that's Bonga Hafo, then Eastern region, now maintaining the 2014 percentage of Upper East with 14%. Then we had Central region, Upper West, then Western region recording 13%. Then Northern region and Ashanti having 11%. Then the least came from Greater Accra region with 6%. So even with the Upper East region, if you go into details, it stated that the Nabdam constituency, where I come from, I'm sorry to say, the Nabdam constituency where I come from has the highest recorded, that is 21% of the percentage in the Upper East region, which is something that we need to do or we need to talk about. It's something really serious. Not the best. It's really serious, and we need to deal with it. So, as health workers, or let me say, as health experts, we would need to call people on board to help us campaign against this issue of teenage pregnancy. If there's nothing we can do about it, we can still talk to people within our vicinities. It's also one form of education. We don't just sit down and wait for us to get a bigger platform to voice out our words. We can still start from the background where we talk to various people within our communities to at least educate them on some issues regarding teenage pregnancy. So we've dealt with these things. Now we want to talk about the causes. We realize that it's on the increase. We know is on the increase. So what are certain things, or what are the things that is causing these younger ones of ours to get into such situations that are not really of good, that is not really good to our societies. So Madam Mariam, can you please talk, or can you please brief us on something small regarding to the causes of these teenage pregnancies?
Actually, the little I can say about this is the causes. Most of the teenage pregnancy, most of it comes from peer pressure. I mean, when they go to school, especially
Mom, ready.
House, the SHS, someone can come from the house, should be well disciplined in the house, God fearing, but immediately the person gets into the SHS, everything goes out of hand. You see, because of what the friend she sees, or he sees the friends doing in school, also decide to join. And another cause too is rape, sexual abuse, rape. Some of the when it happens like that, when they are being raped and there's pregnancy, because of the shame and I don't know, they don't know the father of the child, so they resort to other means of getting rid of the baby. And also how they call it, alcohol and drugs is also a factor. Alcohol and drugs, and let's say curiosity and experimentation. See, as an adolescent growing up, they are taught about sex education. They teach them, and it's like someone will say, so far as they've taught me, I have to experiment to see what it is. See, so when they try to do something, it results in something like that.
Thank you very much. So, Brother Osman, can you add something to what Sister just said?
Oh, thank you very much. She has almost said all, but there are still more to that, to the causes of teenage pregnancy. And one also key aspect is poverty. At that stage, some of our parents are not well to do. So the adolescents, the adults or the adolescents at that stage, maybe they might be going to schools per se, like how she said, the boarding houses. And if you are not able to provide all her needs for her per se, as also she's a female too, so her friends might tend to influence her to use, as they say, use what you have to get what you want. And so they might tend to force her or just influence her to go into that just to get whatever she wants or the provisions she wants for school. So at that stage, you ask the parents to look or take very good attention at their female works. And also, as she said, parents' irresponsibility to his part. Parents' irresponsibility. You can, at this part, like at this stage, you can realize that even at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the evening, you can see a lot of girl children roaming about in the streets. I don't know whether the parents don't know or they just don't care about them. But this one can lead to those kind of irresponsible behaviors. And they say, as we said, the parents' irresponsibility.
Mom, radio.
Is part because responsibility we said is shared. We have the father's responsibility, the mother's responsibility, and you, the child per se. So if per se your parents are not doing that, and you are being taught in the school, so you have to take it as your own responsibility to shun away from all those irresponsible behaviors.
But there's this thing about parents' absence, where most of our parents, because of the kind of work they do and other things, they don't have time for the kids. So in a case where the parent is always absent, they can resort to friends for advice and other things. What do you think about it, Auntie Mary?
It also depends on the way you bring up the child. Even in your absence, because of the way manner you brought her up, even in your absence, you try to come to the way you have taught her. Even in your absence, she will still sit down quietly, wait for you until you come back. She will resort to other friends, and it also depends on the way you relate to your child. When she's having a problem, she can come to
relate to you.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. So, Brother Osman, what would you also say about these absence of parents? It's possible that we have parents, even if they are not around, they have someone around they can just leave. Let's say a close family member who can take care of this child when they are not there. But we can, especially, so who do you leave your child with? That is another issue we have to talk about, because maybe that person you even leave your child with will be the same person that can cause you trouble.
So in this aspect, before you leave your child, you have to see the kind of person you leave your child with, the person's behavior, the character. I mean, how the person is, because at least you live with the person there, with an environment for a long time, so you know how the person is. So before you leave your child with that person, you have to think twice before leaving your child. And if possible, you leave the child with a close relative who can discipline the child when she or he goes wrong. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I would like to ask something. Is it advisable to leave, especially a female child, with a male caretaker? Let me say, a male in the house.
This question is kind of strange.
It's kind of strange, and
because the statistics we are receiving in this our part of the country is very alarming. Because mostly we hear fathers sleeping with their daughters, even brothers, and all those stuff. So I don't actually know. It depends. The father, you, the wife, you know the man you are married to.
Mom, radio.
So if you think leaving your child or your daughter with him
it's safe,
is safer, you have to access and leave the child with him.
Thank you very much. Then we would like to move on to the next question, and we've talked about it. So now it has happened. We realize that the child is pregnant.
Yeah.
And what are some of the risks that the child, or let me say the lady, is likely to go through, looking at her age and how pregnancy, how our sister here can relate, how tedious or how stressful pregnancy is, and you, a child of let's say 12 years, you happen to realize that you are pregnant. What are some of the risks you are likely to go through or you are likely to encounter when you find yourself in such a situation?
You know, there's a saying that goes that it's hard to raise a child when you are a child, right? And I don't know, as a teenage, you're supposed to be changing the world, not changing diapers. And pregnancy comes with a lot of things. And as a teenager, you are grown alright. Your reproductive system has not grown to the extent that it can endure the pain of or whatever comes with the pregnancy. So as the mother, the baby is likely to face the greater risk of being, sometimes the child will be born premature, or the time the child is being brought to the world, it will be stillbirth. You see, it comes with a lot of factors. The mother can die through childbearing, and also she can get cervical cancer. It's also a factor. And some of them also assert to abortion because she can't face the shame and other things. So she try to abort the baby. And even when a child is brought into the world, because the mother has no money to cater for the baby, the child can be malnourished. See, so it has a lot of things.
As my sister rightly said, at that age, your sex organs are not well developed. As the pelvis, we see, it's not really broadened for you, for the child to pass through. So at that stage, maybe it can lead to death when, like, in case you don't report to the hospital.
Especially when it happens that you get ectopic pregnancy.
Of course, yeah.
Where the baby is even supposed to, it's too small to harbor the baby. So in that case, you realize that some of the girls get these ectopic pregnancy.
Yes. Yes.
It's possible that you as a child you require a whole lot because you are now
Mom read you.
nutrients and all those things to be able to grow up very well. But this is the case, you don't have even enough. Then it's you have a baby in you now who also needs a whole lot. It's really something
stressful.
Very stressful. That's when you realize that anemia and
certain.
Yes, because you require a lot of iron, a whole lot of nutrients.
And as a teenager, at that time too, maybe you are not working. Yes. You be at home. So how do you feed yourself? As a pregnant woman, you have to eat well. You see, so it's all a factor.
And even because of that, since due to the shame and other things, if you are pregnant, you are supposed to go for this antenatal, and because of what the shame because if they, and one thing is that when they go to the health centers, they are
some of the nurses it's really a fact. Some of the nurses really insult them, which makes them very depressed. So some of them feel very shy to come to antenatal service. Someone I know of a situation whereby the lady was pregnant. She sat home. She didn't go to antenatal throughout, and she delivered at home. But God being so good, she had the baby and she was fit.
Someone who was lucky.
Yes.
So when it happens that
because they know that when they go to the hospitals, the nurses
they'll be insulted,
that is it. So they'll not try to even, and those who are bold to even come, because when they come, they begin to hide their faces and.
And talking about it, Sister Mariam talked about low birth weight.
Yeah.
Where we have a particular range where if you give birth to the baby, you can classify the baby as a normal baby.
Yeah.
So when it happens that you as a child, like we talked about, you need certain nutrients to help you grow because you are still entering the adults, like you are now going into your adolescence, you are going into there's a whole lot you require for the body to be able to go normal as it should. But this is the case, you have another one in you, so it's kind of
sharing
conflicts with each other. So you are sharing the small nutrients that you need as a child with the baby in you now. So when it happens that way, you realize that after delivery, you realize the child is
low birth weight.
She and when it happens like that, you are likely to lose the baby.
Of course.
Because it's low birth weight is very risky.
To
those who even have the money, they sometimes are lucky enough to do a whole lot to let the child survive. But you as a child, how much you don't even work? Possibly you are even taking money from your parents. And if it happens that your parents are not even well,
Mom read you.
That's another whole issue. Then the trend follows.
And
you don't have, the child will not get them.
And as we are talking about, we are like, now we are concentrating on the child. What of you, the child yourself? It destroys your career, because you had a vision that maybe I wanted to be somebody in life, and this unintended pregnancy sets in. So it kind of destroys. You can't continue your education per se. Like, I don't think our junior high schools and senior high school don't allow a pregnant teenager to be in school. So at the long run, it will destroy your own career.
Just a few. If you take four teenagers, it's only out of four, you get only one teenager who will, try to get a diploma. After giving birth, she will force, even though there's shame, she'll go back to school to at least do something with their life. So,
and there's this issue with regards to postpartum blues, like postpartum depression. Our sister Mariam talked about it, and it's really something that is very strange, and it's happening. Like we said, you are not psychologically prepared to cater for a child. Some are lucky enough to have their parents support them when it happens, but when it happens that you can relate right after pregnancy, there are a whole lot of stress that you go through as a mother. The child is crying, possibly after the delivery you had sores and a whole lot, so you are kind of stressed out. Then it happens that you have another thing to think about. Let's say you get up in the morning, the child is crying, you're already in pain, you are even thinking about what to eat, what your child will eat, and already possibly your parents are on your neck every day, dissing you, insulting you every day. When it happens that way, that's when the depression comes in, and you will not be surprised that such a child will try to even kill the child, the baby she has delivered, because she is not in her right mind to cater for such a child, and it has happened. So it comes with a whole lot. This teenage, we look at it at something not really
established.
Like it's not really a problem, but it's a big problem. When you go down deeper, it's really a big problem, because now you find on your social media, say baby mama, like I have a child with someone, and they are kind of proud about it. Yes, it's something that is happening. So let's say even media
Mom, radio.
Of the teenage pregnancy. The media is one thing that our children are looking at, and it's causing a whole lot. They've seen that, oh, this person has gotten pregnant for such a person, and she has everything she needs, so what is wrong with me also doing that? Possibly she was lucky. You go out, you sleep with every man, or you sleep with everyone you see, and at the end you get pregnant. How sure are you that is this person, or so that is one situation our sisters, our younger ones, are finding themselves in, and it's kind of difficult to get to them in trying to explain a whole lot to them. And there's one thing we also left out with regards to the risk, the moodiness. You realize that it also falls under the depression. The person is always in a mood swing, always angry, and a whole lot. So the risk is more.
It's
More.
endless.
If you are
As you rightly said, even it can be subdivided into like three: the child or the teenager per se, the community or the society, and the nation as a whole. So at that stage, when you are pregnant, as you rightly said, that it destroys your career. So what happens to the nation? Because we don't have generations that will take over from the old to like human resources to put more into our economy too, and also on all those kind of stuff too.
And even you become a burden, let's say to your parents. You already, they are trying to fend for you, then you bring in another child, possibly they are even struggling 3 square meals or 2 square meals for the entire family, then you come in with another child. So it's a whole lot. So thank you very much for your suggestions, and we would like to talk about, now we know the cost, we know the risk. How do we, for now it's on the high, so we can't just say we will just take it out at an instant. So how do we minimize the situation so that maybe with time it will be dealt with? Because we can't just get up one day and say we've dealt with that issue. We need to do something to at least minimize the situation so that with time we can sit down and proudly say dealt with the entire situation. So, Sister Mariam, can you?
I think the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is through abstinence. That is the best way. And also through sex education, counseling, and also the religious ethics. I mean, teaching your child, bringing your child up the way of God, or the way of Allah. It also helps. It will also help. And the parents are also supposed to be strict. I'm not really strict, but you're supposed to, cater for your child to the extent that she wouldn't, it wouldn't give her the edge to go out to take something from a guy or something like that. Yeah.
And even in some cases, if you realize that your child has something you didn't provide for her,
yeah,
it's your duty or it's your responsibility as a mother to ask where.
You see, most of the thing is that sometimes it's like when the child needs something and she goes to the parent, some of the parents immediately the child asks, and they start shouting on the child. She become frightened. So anytime she needs something, she can't come to you to ask. So instead of coming to you, she rather want to go out. And these days, what do you see around? The guys and the men, they don't give it to you free. They take something from before giving it to you. So
and it's not only that. It's not about you not even giving out. Sometimes the way you relate with the children.
Of course.
It happened that this one is even happened in the house. Realize that the child was being beaten.
Yeah.
She goes out, they beat her. So if you tell her to go for makranta, she refuses.
Of course.
She was being beaten. And when they came to the house, she told them they shouldn't tell her grandmother. That is because of the way
she's related.
She reacts to certain things. Yeah. So she's kind of afraid to even let it out.
But
she's afraid she'll be beaten. So in a situation where your child does something and the first thing that comes to your mind is to hit the child. Your child does something, she comes to ask you, the first thing that comes to your mind is to hit the child. It will come to a point she'll stop asking.
She'll not even
tell you. So even if someone within the house is doing something to her, and the person tells her, "Don't say it, I'll do this to you," she's completely shattered. She just can't do anything about it. She keeps it to herself, and before you realize, it's gone out of hand, and nothing can be done about it.
Yeah.
So, Brother Osman, what else would you like to add?
There are a lot. Like as we say, the strength of the career, we can map out programs through the Ghana Health Education, where maybe I don't know whether now it's there. They say there's some youth corners in our health facilities where the teenagers can sort out for them to talk to them about their health and also the Ghana Education Service can either carve out or add within their curriculum, let's say sex education for the kids and those kind of stuff to help reduce teenage pregnancy in the country.
And also, if you're a teenager and you can't abstain, then protect yourself. There are lots of family contraceptive. There's condom. You have to protect yourself at least from pregnancy and STIs. Yeah.
At least if you can't do away with other contraceptives, just do with your condom.
Yeah.
That's all to prevent any other. So we've talked about all these things. We talked about a whole lot. The disadvantages. You as a lady, what are some of the disadvantages? Though we've stated some in the risk, like you the risk of you losing your education. They all come as a disadvantage.
You lose your respect in front of your friends. You'll be looked down upon. Rejection. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. But the child suffers it more. The baby. They are at more risk. And the mother is at risk. The mother is also at risk. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We would like to do a short commercial break so that when we come back we delve more, or we talk about some few things before we go off our program for today.
Muslim Access Movement.
We spread the word of Islam
on your Google Play Play Store. Download and install. You tap and listen 24 hours of DAWAH in Asante, English and Hausa language. Keep sharing the link, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Dedi kan di asida edima Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turo yen kaibo ene wo ho. Igan say be tumonim say access DAWAH people be hia car a me de be adwuma say be ya mbetuma ko town to town, outside to outside, village to village. Oh Ghana babia empo mbetuma try oh Ghana amako another outside country. Ohwe yeah DAWAH teachers for now. Ase kasa woro de pina na man for de ekeka ahwe betuma wuro babia so to outside Europe kure betuma Europe there this be your for play. Aminye ni yemfa mai. Eti agire for where de betuma nim say ehia mo nyame chadom Europe for modo mo ho agim so mo de boa car no ana ho tell ha nipa wo push car no your friend Usama
ready
so di kamfodi wo di yan ko poniti enti onimba be nyame be gina afa enti wo boa car no aso na push car no agide for ya ship car no so 3 months na Babylon sram mo ma yenim gu ase yesram a enti se de yesram so access ni bisimla yesram mo mo na member bi antua 1 million and who ira dem ma obetwe tuo munya dia bom say 100,000 obenya wo de ba ye be twere wudin ye hu say o san de kana 100 enti asra member bia for so say obetumi aboa say 1 million ya mo aso 1 million it say member be na just so twe 1 million kai ye betumi ato emenya scan bi kwa dem asa da ebi fufuro kra o te asenti asra bi bia 1 million so betwa ma na bro so twa ma no mo iri fo ndom betumi twa ma na bro so enti obi an for so de o cha sama do kra twa ne de fama buso fo bi wagu ana kremofo biotumi tio bia de wada kamnama e ka mu nyina ende wase sese ne mu edre enti 1 million ye kana mum utumi tio ma ne boro wo ma no kire se ma no mu yetino bia ye 1 million dabi na mo betuma ya se bia utio 1 million na e bia me ma no me mba 100 bia na se bia me ne me mani na 1 million na me dim onye ni yemfa ma ndi damase o me nyina ndi ase no me nyina botro me nyina akoma pa shala ya me nyine baba no betue bia so hu hire de e wo ho ma agide for o me nyina ya mo o me nyina ya mo
We'll give them dawah. They wanna know what Muslim does. We'll give them dawah. When they wanna hate on our deen, we'll give them dawah.
Muslim Access
We
Movements.
spread the word of Islam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Your friend Ismail Osman, Nekasa Free Kuwait. Brothers in Penny4, Mam Radio, I remember radio station back up a champion. I be ni baby any size. I say sorry. It's original nine so. Na ye boa in Penny4 no. I di kan for na ye boa na yesu na ye boa. Ketwa bia nso a be boa ma adwuma na ye den akoso na Islam atuma konanim. Because man inatima sorry kunji haja na ye mema ya ye lokozi ya entwa yi. I say sorry na gina na nyi so. Mam Radio ya nhia wa nka ye breagu.
Mam Radio. Wallahi, Al-Jannah to Firdaus is our limit, inshallah. Amen.
Yes, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, welcome back to the program Mamphec, and it's some 28 minutes, or let's say 30 minutes past 4 o'clock. Sorry for the delay in today's program. Once again, I would like to acknowledge Makan Natural Foods for sponsoring our program today, and you can still come in to sponsor our programs. We have a lot of programs that we'll be taking or we'll be doing in the course of this month till the end of December. But in December we plan on holding a bigger event.
Radio.
We need a whole lot to be able to do it. We have our envelopes and we have our lines you can call us through to sponsor. Before we went for the commercial break, we were talking about the disadvantages, and we would like to brief our listeners and our viewers of Mam Online about the entire program, what we've done so far for today. And before we started the program, we talked about what we did last week concerning home accidents, which was a success. We had our brother here in the studios, Brother Osman, who was part of our panelists, and myself here part of the panelists and we discussed home accidents. Today in our studio we have Brother Osman and our sister Mariam here to help us discuss, who helped us discuss the program, and Husseina Ibrahim, your host for today. We talked about, if you can help Brother Osman, we talked about who a teenager is, and
where we said the teenager is a person between the ages of 10 to 19 years of age.
So in that case, if you find a lady between these ages who gets pregnant, then we can term, or we can say that lady, or we can term that pregnancy as teenage pregnancy. And we also talked about some few situations, or let's say how serious a situation is, and we based those things on some statistics from 2014 to 2017, which showed that the situation was on the increase as the year goes by, which proves that teenage pregnancy is really something serious, which needs to be dealt with, or we need to keep reminding ourselves about how the situation is and how to curb the situation. We talked also about the causes, where we talked about media, absence of parents, poverty, peer pressure, divorce is also another factor. Yes, we talked about all those things, and we also talked about the risk involved in teenage pregnancy. If you happen to find yourself in a situation like that, not only are you causing a problem for yourself, but most importantly, the baby you are bringing on board, the baby you are bringing into this world is the very person who is likely to suffer more risk of it. And the entire society also goes through a whole lot of risk because of your problem. And the whole. So we also talked about some of the disadvantages where you lose your education, let's say your career, your foresight. Someone big in the future to also help the rest of your siblings, your society, your family. Then you happen to find yourself in such a situation. That is a disadvantage to you, and a whole lot, which is not something good. So all too soon we've come to the end of today's program, and all too soon we've come to today's
Wallahi, Al-Jannah fi Firdaus.
We would like
Inshallah.
to state that it was Mamphec, though we delayed in our time, which was supposed to start at 3 o'clock on the dot, but due to certain certainties, we couldn't start at the appointed time. We had in our studios here Madam Mariam, our sister Mariam, and also our brother Osman, who came our way to help us discuss the program. And we've come to the end of this episode, which was teenage pregnancy, and we hope that inshallah next week we come your way again with another episode of the Mamphec. Until we meet again, we would like to just ask for your sponsorship. It's not something we can do alone. You can still come in to sponsor, just as Makan Natural Food is sponsoring our program. We have a whole lot we plan on doing, and it will not be a problem for you if you come in to sponsor our programs, because this is also another form of jihad we are doing. Like I always state, we can't take Qur'ans, you can't take let's say hadiths and other things to do jihad. This is our own small way of jihad. So the small or the little you can do to sponsor our program will be waiting on you to sponsor. You can call on the numbers we gave out, that is 0200773367, then 0246751175. And if you are outside the shores of Ghana, all you need to do is to add the +2332, the numbers that we mentioned, to sponsor our programs. You can also call directly on 0322494026. Sister Mariam, do you have something small to say, and someone you would like to say hi to before we end our program?
Actually, the little advice I'll give to our parents is we should try and have time for our kids, and also As adolescents growing up, as adolescents, you are supposed to be changing the world and not changing diapers. So, as an adolescent, when your parents strive hard to send you to school, you have to look on and at least finish and become an important personality in the country.
Would you like to meet someone, please, before we end our program? Zainab here to wait.
Actually, my greetings goes to my lovely husband. He's in Saudi at the moment. All I want to say is I miss you so much.
Oh.
And Allah bless you wherever he is.
I hope Alhaji Musa nearby is listening to us. We have your wife here in our studios and she really misses you. So please, wherever you are, try and rush back into our country here. Wherever you find yourself, even if it means flying this evening, try and come.
Yeah, I pray that Allah will safeguard him wherever he is and bring him home back safely.
But Osman.
In a nutshell, we can see the causes and the effects and how alarming teenage pregnancy is in our country. So we would like to call on the stakeholders, the government, and everyone to actually look into the effects and the causes, and also to educate our teenagers about teenage pregnancy.
Okay, so I would like to, on behalf of Mom and Mamphec, I would like to thank you all for getting time off your busy schedules to come here to sit in for our program, Mamphec. It's been lovely having you on our studios, and we pray that the coming weeks, if we should call on you, you'll be eager to come on board to help us. So it's been Mamphec, as we said, and next week we hope to bring you another episode of the Mamphec, and we hope that the topic will also be an issue that needs to be dealt with within our societies, within our entire everything. Let me put it that way. So till we meet again next week, inshallah, we would like to tell you to stay healthy, eat good food, exercise, and pray as well. So we meet again inshallah next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
On your Google Play Store, download and install Mom Radio. Tap and listen 24 hours of DAWAH in Asante, English and Hausa language. Keep sharing the link, inshallah.
Mam Radio. Wallahi, Al-Jannah to Firdaus is our limit, inshallah. Amen. Mam Radio. Wallahi, Al-Jannah to Firdaus is our limit, inshallah. Amen. Mam Radio. Wallahi, Al-Jannah.